guys, welcome back to another video. Today I'm gonna be answering all of y'all's questions, so it's a Q&A day. Woo! So I'm pretty sure you guys saw the video that I put up and a bunch of you guys asked questions. I also kind of put some of the questions people asked me during Noah's live that I didn't get to answer in this little questions list. So I have it on my phone. Let me go ahead and pull it up. Also, in case you guys are interested, it's my makeup for today. I'm not sure if I really like it that much, but it's definitely interesting, so let me know what you think. Let's get into the questions. How long have you been a witch and what drew you to the craft? I've been a witch for over 3 years now, I think. I started in around October of 2016. Because it was around that's my birthday month, so I remember when it happened. I guess what originally drew me to the craft was I was just so bored and tired of like being Christian or being agnostic and not really knowing what I believed. I knew that I wanted to search for something that was kind of Native American-esque, some sort of like spirituality or something that really related with nature, because I was really idealistic in that kind of thing. I definitely had heard of paganism and witchcraft before, but I never really did that much research into it. So I guess at that point I just realized I was gonna stop being afraid of it and start researching it. And that was kind of it. I looked on YouTube and I found a bunch of cool people, and here I am today. Number 2, what kind of witch are you, if you identify as one? Well, first of all, I do identify as a witch, so we're good on that part. There's a lot of, I guess, types or labels that I could put myself under as a witch. I guess the easiest one would be to say I'm eclectic. But if we want to talk about, I guess, the kind of areas that I've been kind of labeled by community members or like just people in general, a lot of people would say I'm very closely tied to craft work with the Fae. So I guess I could be considered a fairy witch. Honestly, all in all, I don't really think labels matter that much for me in my practice. I just kind of do what I do. And like I said before, it's easier classified under eclectic just because I do so much. I don't restrict myself where I be witchy, I guess. Number 3, do you work with any specific deity? I do, actually. So most of you are probably like laughing at this point. I have a full month of videos dedicated to my lovely goddess Freya. I've been working with Freya maybe a year behind how long I've been working in witchcraft, so maybe over 2 years. And it's been quite the journey. I was actually trying to work with Persephone and that didn't end up working out. It ended up leading to Freya. So yeah, I work with Freya a lot from the Norse pantheon. Besides that, he doesn't like being called a deity because he's not really technically one, but energy-wise, they're on a similar level to me. I work with a fairy king named Finvara, and he is like, the easiest way for me to put it is he's very similar to Loki in the playful, trickster-esque kind of vibes. If you'd like to hear more about Finvara, I do have a video about that, although it's probably way out of date. I haven't re-talked about it in a long time. But if you guys are interested on that, I can probably post another video on me talking about more experiences I've had with Finvara, any new developments I've come in working with him, and so on and so forth. Number 4, favorite witchcraft books. I don't have it with me in the room, but I'm reading through the Fairy Craft book right now, and that is like by far one of my favorites. But right now my favorite witchy books have been all Fae inspired. So I have recently read this one, Way of the Fairy Shaman. This was a very good read for me. Fairy Witchcraft from the, I think it's Pagan Portals, yes. And then also from Pagan Portals, Your Fairy Magic. This was my first fairy book, and I loved it. I haven't read this one yet, but it's another one I'm dying to get into. I'm sure a lot of you know of it. It's the Fairy Witchcraft Forbidden Mysteries. So, yeah, those are the books that I've been liking so far, or the ones I want to hop into. Super excited. Number 5, what is the first witchy book you read? If we're going on technical terms by nonfiction sense, then this is my first witchcraft book I've ever read. It is Wicca, A Guide for the Solitary Practitioner by Scott Cunningham. I know a lot of you guys have seen this book, and it was pretty decent. It helped me to kind of figure out where I wanted to go from just the basics. So if you're looking for a good basics book, this one's good. The other book I don't have with me, but it is the House of Night book series, and that one is fictional, but it taught me about like kind of pagan-esque teachings. So I really appreciate that book. And I have to include this one. This is my favorite book of all time. It is Song of the Sparrow, and this one's kind of going off of the, what is it called? The King Arthur tale and all of that junk. So I know, like, a lot of you have heard of that. This one goes into, like, a girl basically living in the camp with Arthur and, like, all his knights or whatever. And she is kind of, like, the seamstress for them. She like sews up their clothes, she's their healer, and it's just very intriguing to like read about all of this and kind of, I don't know, envision yourself there. I know a lot of people would say this one's not very witchy, but I feel like it's witchy. So definitely give this book a read if you want to see that. Number 6, favorite fiction books. Oh, oops. I already answered that. This one's my number 1, so please go check this one out. Oh, also, I want to say, like, I love the way it's set up. It looks like a poem in there, so please read that book. It's so good. Number 7, what are your hobbies? Video games, watching anime, I paint, I draw, I do makeup for myself. I'm not very great at it, but I do makeup. Anything really crafty or creative. I just like to try and hone my crafting skills as much as I can. You can probably see more. I think I've listed more in my channel intro video. That'll probably give you a lot more to go off of. But those are the main ones I can think of right now. Okay, this one's a very good question. I really appreciate this one. So this person says, you mentioned once you do spells in your head. You were talking about a delayed order at McDonald's. Can you share more about that? Your process for doing spells in your head. Like, what are you thinking or doing in your mind? And what exactly that means. So this person is talking about a conversation I was having. I can't remember with who. But basically, I was talking about how sometimes my magic is just chaotic and, like, in the moment. That's mostly how I do my magic. And I was talking about how during, like, as an example, that I was at McDonald's waiting for my order one time, and that I used kind of my own spell work, magic, whatever, in order to get these girls a hustling. And then next thing I know, my meal's there and ready. I think it's funny, a lot of people think magic has to be super fancy and like you have to use technique, you have to rhyme for all of your spell work, or you have to just like, I don't know, do fancy shit. But my thought process is, you know, like whenever you're thinking about something and then all of a sudden it happens, to me that's magic as well. And you're like, huh, that worked and I was just thinking it, so that's so cool. I believe we as people are a lot more powerful than we think we are, and magic is just in our everyday lives, at least if we permit it to be. For me, like, what does that really look like? It depends on each and every single moment. For that particular one, I don't remember what I was saying, but I probably said something along the lines of like, in my head, of course, I didn't say it out loud, just like, I see these girls are working hard, please get them in the zone to be working, or like in a groove, like have them get in their groove to where they are shooting out orders to people in a timely manner, and you know, my food won't take as long to come out as I will some it be, something like that. It doesn't really have to be fancy or have cool wording or anything like that. Most of my spell work really isn't. It's just mundane and in the moment, and I'm completely fine with that. For me, it's all about adding the magic to the mundane in order to help me along with my path, or just with daily random stuff. So yeah, I hope that kind of explains it. I know it's not really that cool of an answer, but yeah, it's just the magic in the mundane. Sometimes it doesn't have to look or sound cool, it just is. Number 9, who/what is your favorite musician, band, or music genre? Oh, this one's kind of hard because I have so many. I am also eclectic with my music taste too. My top favorite right now, as far as artist goes, is Aurora. I've already sang my praises about her. She's a queen. I love her, and I love everything about her. I guess right now that's kind of the main one. I've also been loving Ariana Grande too, but you know, I feel like that's kind of a basic bitch answer, so I'm just gonna stick with Aurora. God, I just like everything basically. I don't really have any restrictions on music either. If you guys would like me to share a playlist at some point with some of my favorite music, I can go ahead and do that for you guys. Just let me know. Number 10, what do you do for work? This is actually a really good question as well because a lot of the newer folks coming in don't know what I do for work. Right now I'm in quarantine, so I'm not doing anything for work. But on the regular, when we're not in the craziness, I am out and about in a child's entertainment place and I take family pictures, which is super fun. So I get to like pose families for certain pictures. We have a green screen and we have people do like a regular happy family photo. And then after that, we do like a fun action pose, whatever it is, because sometimes the photos change or the backgrounds change. I do the photos, I do the editing, and then I also do the selling for that. And it is by far my favorite job that I've ever had. I love my coworkers, I love my boss, and I just love the environment that I get to work in. Hopefully in due time, I will be back in action with all of that. P.S. Miss all of my coworkers if y'all are watching my videos right now. Love you. Number 11, what did you study in college? So I really like this one because it makes the automatic assumption that I've gone to college, which I am very prideful for. Unfortunately, I have not gone to college yet. It's something that I really thought about in school, like over the years growing up, but no one in my family has gone to college. So there wasn't really that help system there for me, and the teachers weren't, or like the ones that are supposed to be there to help you get into college. I felt like there was just a push to go to college without the focus on the individual and what they actually wanted. They were just trying to force you to go so that way, I don't know, it looks good on the country or the school or whatever. I've thought about going to college, and they're like, let's say if I were to go right now, what would I go for? I might go for like a criminal investigation or something like that because I really am intrigued with true crime. Or I might do something like animation or art. Those are my main two big interests. If there is anything for metaphysical wise in my area, I would definitely hands down do that too. But yeah, I don't go to college currently. Okay, so this one is from the live stream from Noah Tempestari's channel. And someone was asking me what games have influenced me. This came across because I was talking about before I wanted to be a pagan YouTuber, I actually wanted to be a gaming YouTuber. The number one that is by far my favorite in this world is Near Gestalt. That game, hands down, is so amazing. The music is beautiful, the atmosphere is gorgeous, and I've replayed that game at least 20 times. I really want to get a tattoo of a male and possibly Grimoire Vice. So if I got a male, it'd probably be on this arm or this one, but I want a big one of a male. And then I want probably Grimoire Vice somewhere and like a quote from him saying something really sassy. That would be fun. Besides that, I really love Tales of Vesperia, and Resident Evil 4 is also like one that's very close to my heart. Obviously there are a bunch more games. I've played so many, but those are probably my top 3 if I had to leave it at that. Number 13, do you listen to any witchy podcasts? So I don't really listen to any witchy podcasts, which is interesting because I do like podcasts. But the one podcast that I have been listening to, it's not witchy, but the people that are running the podcast are kind of spiritual-esque. So I really love that. And it's called Mile Higher Podcast. In that one, they talk about conspiracy theories, true crime, just like the unusual and oddities of the world. And I find it so intriguing. If you've not watched it, I definitely highly recommend it. It's one of my favorites. Number 14, does chanting play a part in your ritual practice? If so, what are 1 or 2 of your favorite chants? That was such a hard sentence for me to say, and I don't know why. Number 1, yes, I chant all the time. I love chants. I've created my own chants. It's like a whole thing. My top favorite ones, or some of the first ones I learned, are the earth, the air, the fire, the water, return, 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 return. The earth, the air, the fire, the water, return, 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 return. The other one I really love is, we all come from the goddess, and to her we shall return like a drop of rain flowing to the ocean. And then of course there's the obvious and like super popular one. Isis, Astarte, Diana, Hecate, Demeter, Kali, Inanna. And then there's always, this one has been a really big favorite of mine, and I don't remember the words, so I'm gonna read it off of here. Is cauldron of changes, feather on a bone, arc of eternity, ring around a stone. We are the old people, we are the new people, we are the same people, wiser than before, wiser than before, wiser than before. We are the same people, wiser than before. So yes, it plays a very big part in my practice. Number 15. Did you wake up with a song in your head today? If yes, which one? Happening today in my head? I think I did. It's I think it's called Lights Up from Harry Styles. And it's what do you mean? I'm sorry, by the way. Never come back down. I'm not gonna sing any more than that. We don't need to get copyrighted. But if you know the song, yes. Number 16, what's your favorite crystal? I don't know if I have really a favorite one. I guess my favorite right now is probably amethyst, just because that was the first crystal I ever had. Besides that, probably obsidian, because myself and my siblings used to go in our backyard and we had a bunch of obsidian in the back and we would always grab them and, you know, collect it. I wish I would have kept one from that place because it feels like sacred. I should have kept it. But I used to collect a bunch of them all the time. And finally, number 17. What Harry Potter house are you in, and which one do you identify most with? So my Harry Potter knowledge is very, like, sparse, I guess. I did do the test, however, because my coworker wanted to find out what everybody's house they were in. So I did all of that junk, and I ended up being a Slytherin, which I think is kind of fitting anyways, because I'm a Scorpio, so that connects. I'm pretty sure they're the ones that everyone hates though, so yikes, awkward. I guess if I had to do one other than that, I think I would fall under Ravenclaw, probably. I don't really know much about the other two. At some point, I'm gonna sit down and watch all the movies, and maybe if I have the chance, I'll read all the books. I've only read one book. No, I read one book and then part of the second one, and I've only watched one Harry Potter movie. So we're a little bit behind. But yeah. So that is going to be the end of this video. Thank you guys so much for asking me all those questions. I really appreciate it. And thank you so much for the 1K plus subs. We're now, I think, at 1.4K, which is super amazing. I can finally use the community like chat area so I can like talk to you guys through there, which makes me so happy because now I can like ask you questions about videos and I can actually get responses. Peeps on my Instagram be slow sometimes, or they're too shy to talk or something. I don't know. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Much love, and goodbye. Goodbye.